Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I forgot I was watching something before I transitioned. Hi. Hello. It's me, the local virtual baker, Saltea Kichee. Hello. Hello. Sorry, don't mind me. I was watching... I was watching this on Touch of Kitchen Nightmares. I don't know. How are y'all doing today? Hi, hello. Hi, Salmon. Nice to see you. Hello, welcome in. Alright, today is going to be a nice day. Today is going to be a sort of simple day today. Today, remember when I said I was going to make bread on stream? I kind of lied. Because I've already made the bread. But the thing is that I just made it. So, that kind of counts, right? I'm not sure. What the heck? Yeah. Alright, sorry. I want to just move my stuff around. I've been moving stuff around here and there. Trying to make sure I get a better... How'd you say? A better sort of... A better sort of view here, I guess. I don't know. I need to make sure I need to get a better room here, no? It's kind of orange, the black backboard and the table. And I mean, I got you guys here, but I feel like it needs a little bit more, no? But yeah, today we're just kind of relaxing. We're chilling, even. We're relaxing. We're chilling, even. We are just going to be making soup today. So yeah, we're gonna be making some soup today, and they're gonna be eating some food and all that whatnot. So yeah, very simple day today. We're gonna talk about stuff, maybe things even. Hold on. And yeah. I just kind of realized I did forget one thing. I always forget this one thing when I do when I try and set up stream. I always forget about setting up my tablet, because my tablet is how I watch stream, or at least watch what is it? Watch the chat. There we go. And all ready to go. Ready to start cooking. I am gonna try to make a unique kind of soup today. Just because I want to, and I want to see if I have any of it left in my dry storage still. If I do, I want to get rid of them because they kind of just sit there and I don't really use them that much. But if I do have them, I do want to make this kind of soup. It's a soup that is kind of has some Korean background, but I'm going to change it a little bit because, well, I don't have all the ingredients for it, but I do have some ingredients for it, so it's close enough in that regard. But yeah, I'm just gonna be making some food, I'm gonna be making some soup, doing some stuff, doing some things even, so yeah. I am also thinking about something else. I kind of do want to see if I want to just hang around in a voice call today. Maybe, if maybe anything at all. Actually, hold on, wait. I kind of have like this pseudo... Oi! Yeah, wait, who threw that to me? Who threw that at me? That's weird. This is just... I don't understand this thing. Surely it doesn't just throw stuff at me at weird intervals, right? Alright, well, whatever. Alright, there we go. On the off chance someone does see me lurking, we'll see what happens. But, alright, enough trying to do a bit of stalling. Nothing to do. It's time to get into the kitchen. Alright, there we go. Alright, good. So, hey, look at this. The kitchen area looks a little different too. I have been moving some of the things around. I'm not sure if this is the best setup still. I'm still trying to get it all set up in a way that looks kind of pleasing to the eye still, but this looks a bit better, methinks. So yeah. Alright. Just gonna move the microphone. Let's go. Okay. Do I have... Oh, wait, that's right. Yep. Alright. Everything should be working at this point, right? Sorry, I'm just taking a second here. I want to make sure everything looks fine-ish. Okay. I think I look good now. Waiting for my thing to calibrate. Unless it already did calibrate. Calibration, yeah. Alright, I think we're good now? I think we're good. I'm not sure. I think we're good. Alright. Finally, we can start doing some things. Hi there, Marco. Hi there, June. Hello. Alright, so I kind of just realized something right now. I just realized a very big issue that may or may not impact the first few minutes of today's stream. I have taken some medicine, some medication even, and I feel very drowsy. I'll bounce back, don't worry, but oh jeez, I'm so sleepy now. Oh god. Oh, here, let me bring this out just because I did mention that I did make bread, but it did just finish. So here, look at this bread. Isn't it amazing? Doesn't it look good? It's not sourdough. It's actually just a normal country loaf today. Nothing riveting, nothing crazy. We just got a good old loaf of sourdough. So yes, I mean sourdough. Country loaf. It's white bread. No sour starter. So just gotta leave that in the oven so it cools down a bit more naturally with the oven.
Bread.
And when I do that, the the bread will actually get a much more crustier, crunchy crust. So it's a lot more beneficial to let that cool down in the oven, as the oven also cools down too. So yeah. Bread. So, first thing of business I want to do today, I want to make some chicken stock. So that's going to be the big first thing we're going to probably do today. That's why I have a whole bunch of chicken scraps here, because I had a roasted chicken that I'm using for soup as well. And the bones that are from the roasted chicken, I'm going to be using to make stock, while also breaking down a raw chicken as well. What makes it a country loaf? So a country loaf is pretty much exactly what a sourdough loaf is. It's just that the only difference is that instead of using a sourdough starter, you're using fresh yeast or dry yeast. So it's a very minor difference, but it's still a big difference nonetheless, because versus sourdough versus a country loaf, one has a bit more of a funky sour flavor versus a white loaf, which is what this is, which is going to be more akin to just white bread. So yeah, it's simpler, it's easier, it doesn't require much maintenance too. So that, and also my sour starter has been a little sleepy. I haven't fed it in a while, so I just wanted to get a simple sort of white bread today. All right, well, let's make some stock. And for that, I am gonna get the old reliable stock pot. This is my big old pot that I use for big old things. And it seems like I'm gonna be making a lot of chicken. I'm getting a lot of chicken bones and stuff, so I'm gonna be throwing it in here. There's that. So I'm actually throwing my bones in it already. I'm not sure how common practice this is, but very often, well, not very often, but I have recently been buying, what is it? Recently I've been buying, and they're great. They're real nice to have, because it just makes, what is it? It makes making meals a lot more easier, whilst also still getting in a good source of protein in my diet. And also, I very much try to, still use the bones, put it in some water and boil it for a bit, just get some chicken stock still. So it's nice to have. Oh yeah, I also want to let you know that I'm also going to be making something else today. I'm not just making 2 soups. Well, I think I'm gonna try to make like 3 soups. I want to have a bit of variety of soup this week, so I'm making a chicken-based soup that I can then turn into a ginger chicken soup, or a chicken and ginger soup, which is being based heavily on a Korean soup. Samyang Samyang is a chicken noodle. It's a chicken rice soup. It's almost like a porridgey consistency though, but it uses ginseng and something called jujubes. I think I have. Oh, I do have ginseng. All right. Well, it's American ginseng. So, okay, the dream's alive. I have nori. Nori. Not a lot of tea. Do I not have any more foods? Gelatin. Bread. Oh, well, I have a lot. Jeez, I have a lot of bread. Wow. I guess I don't have the juice anymore. I guess I must have tossed them. Yeah, I guess I don't have them anymore. I will be making do by making something else. Well, not something else, but I'll still be making a ginseng soup. Korean-based soup, if I have not already mentioned it. Where did I put the paper? Because this paper, what did I just do with it? Okay. My okay, where did I just put it? Am I stupid? My situation awareness is really bad, but where did I just put it? Okay. 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 Memory, you gotta work with me here. Where did I just put that piece of paper? I just had a piece of paper. Is it my pockets? Not my pockets. I'm a special kind of stupid, chat. I have just completely lost. I had completely just lost my thing. Well, whatever you need to know. This is a ginseng soup. It's a Korean-based soup that is more of a porridge, chicken porridge. The main ingredients is ginseng, using rice and chicken and making it a very kind of porridgey consistency. There's another thing you're supposed to use called jujubes. Sort of like raisin ordeal. I'm not exactly sure what it is. But you're supposed to use that as well into the soup. I'm stupid. Anyways, my stupidity aside, there are some things we must do. First and foremost, I have myself a whole chicken here, and you know, we've been through this song and dance before, so I'm just gonna get to it. Yeah, but I'm not sure how often I have talked about it already. I'm pretty sure I have already talked about it on stream already, but me talking about, yeah, I'm taking medication now. Let me tell you, greatest thing I've ever done. I'm actually starting to feel like how'd you say, a normal human being. It's crazy. The dream of being normal. Just the only thing that happened is just I'm really sleepy nowadays. Ugh, so tired, so sleepy. Which isn't too weird though. Not gonna be saving the wings this time. Usually when I make break out chicken, I usually keep those wings. But now it's just kind of like that. Ooh, and these have the gizzards and a whole lot of the gizzards too. That's good. Gizzards add nice nutrition, flavor, body, all this sort of fun stuff for a good chicken stock. I mean, you could even use some of this stuff. Like, I think this is the liver, and you can use that to make some very high-end fancy stuff. Fancy stuff such as, what is it called? It's not, what am I thinking of? It's gonna come to me. No, yeah, no, they are mousselines. You could make mousselines with them. Now, granted, mousselines are kind of old-fashioned or really high-end. It really kind of depends on what you're making, really. But yeah, it's kind of funny. I actually had bought this at an impulse, this chicken, but now it's kind of like this is a good thing for me to have, just because I actually kind of looked at my freezer recently, and it's actually becoming a lot more empty, a lot more emptier than I anticipated it would be. getting a lot more emptier in the sense that a lot of the stuff that is I use, I don't know. I'm losing my train of thought here. I'm just really just. To be honest, I'm just kind of like sleepy, but not like sleepy like I'm tired, like didn't get enough sleep. Sleepy. I'm sleepy in the regard to once more this thing. Oop. With the bones now. Yeah. Okay, I gotta stop being barbaric. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it is kind of fun to try and break these bones off and all that whatnot, but in essence, it really is easier just using a knife. No need to be fancy, self. I remember, I remember cutting a chicken up for the first time though, back when I was, I think when I was in high school. I think I learned how to do it. But it was really weird, just because, not weird, but it was really scary just because, there's blood, there's bones, and all this whatnot. And as you're cutting it, you're just wondering and worrying, like, okay, is that my blood? Or is it the blood of the chicken that I'm cutting off right now? A small worry that would always come in head. Like, oh geez, whose blood is that? Is that mine or is it the chicken's? Luckily, I have yet to ever cut myself while cutting a chicken. Knock on wood. Not wood, but you get the idea. But it is still a kind of a lingering thought. There's so many times where it's like, oh man, I really should have been cut there, or I'm surprised I have not gotten myself to a hospital yet. Sometimes I do some really poor judgment, and I somehow get out unscathed. Sometimes it's like, oh man, I'm just that good at cutting. But then there's times where it's like, I really should have lost my finger there. Yeah, I forgot what I was talking about. Hi there, hello there. Thank you for the follow. Thank you, thank you. Hope you're having a grand old time. We're just kind of making some stuff today. I'm ripping up this chicken apart, so that's fun. But yeah, today is kind of like a chill day. We're just making soup. Honestly, it has to be one of my favorite things to cook ever. I don't know, soup is just kind of like a brain dead, but still kind of a fun thing to make. Because despite being a very brain dead task in the regard of like, wow, a lot of the stuff is very straightforward, simple. I do find a bit of enjoyment with it. It does require a bit of technique. It depends on what you're making, really. But like, what is it? It depends on what you're making. But like for making like simple soups and stuff like that, making stock even. If you want to learn how to make good, that would have been bad. That could have been really bad. If you don't know what just happened, my pot almost fell over, and all that stuff was just gotten on the floor, which would have been horrible. Alright, hold on. All right. Here we go. And that is being started. Now, that's not the only bird I'm breaking down today because, well, I've been waiting for this thing to thaw out for at least a week at this point. So my job, since our job makes us work on Thanksgiving, a thing that they do for all the employees is that they give us a free turkey. A whole, I don't know how many pounds this thing is. It's some amount of pounds. It's a pretty big bird. I would say it's probably around maybe 20 pounds. So hey, they just give us a 20-pound bird, which is real nice. It's just unfortunately they give us this the day of Thanksgiving. So, and the issue about that is that it's frozen usually when they give it to us. So since it's frozen, it's a pretty big bird. Usually we have to, unfortunately, what is it? We have to let it thaw out, and I can't really eat that time of. But yeah. Anyways, I'm going to be breaking down this bird as well, but I am not going to be putting it into my chicken stock here because I kind of, even though it would make better sense and make like a poultry stock versus just a chicken stock, I don't like turkey being a part in this equation just due to how turkey can make you sleepy inherently. It has that thiamine or whatever the heck it's called. Like, turkey's great, don't get me wrong, but I want to make sure that I don't sleep randomly if I do have said soup or something like that. Like, if I make a chicken noodle soup and it's made with turkey stock, I'm probably gonna feel sleepy from it. I'm not exactly sure how the the like compound in turkey actually, how far does it go? You know, I don't really truly know. But at the same time, I don't really feel like finding out. Honestly, I could probably just look up something online, really. But once more, I just don't feel like it. I mean, hey, could someone just look up for me right now? I don't know. It really doesn't hurt or impact me either way. And also, isn't really going to change my thought in any regard. Just because, for this at least, I'm already doing it for one thing. And also I have different plans for this bird here. Unfortunately, that does mean I'm probably going to be getting rid of a lot of the parts that are quote-unquote useless, such as the wings, just because I don't really feel like having like a whole turkey. Actually, yeah, I don't feel like having a whole turkey wing really. I am gonna keep the drumettes though. Those are always fun, and I'm probably going to try to break down the thigh as well. Chicken thighs are great, but turkey thighs are actually I would say is probably on par, if not just slightly better, just because they have more meat on it. That, and if you want to do something fun with a turkey thigh, you can just roll it up in butter, as you would with anything with turkey. You can roll it up in butter and then just roast it off. No headache, no fuss, no muss. And also, you might be thinking, like, why would I rather break down a turkey versus, like, I don't know. Why would I break down this turkey versus just roasting it whole? And that is a good question. But the main reason to why I would want to do that is mostly just because if you cook a turkey whole, first of all, you need a big enough oven for that, of which I do not have. Gotta kill this thing. Ah! Right through the back. Wow. It's like I killed someone. Whoa. I just stabbed a bird right through its back. Is that against terms of service? Is that against TOS? I'm too small. I don't think they're gonna notice me. Salter Butchery. Salty Butcher Tea. I mean, I do like butchering. Butchering stuff is really fun, honestly. I'm just still not very good at it, just because I don't have proper practice. Oh. Like, the only reason why I can actually butcher a turkey fairly well is just because turkey, in any sense, in the sense of anatomy, when it comes to cooking at least, it's pretty much the same build-up of a chicken. The only poultry that I would say is debatably different is probably duck, just because it's a lot more smaller, but it's also bigger and also has a lot more fat in some places. So it's slightly more different. It's just the thing about using some of the using some of the skills for chicken, it requires just a bit more muscle strength. A lot of the tendons, a lot of the connections between the bone and the meat in turkey is a lot more, how'd you say, a lot more, it's a lot more tough, just because turkey is a bit more of a partier bird. So a lot of it is a little bit more hard to break apart. Not me being scared of how the turkey looks now. Scared. I mean, hey, I don't blame you. Butchering watching someone butcher something, I will admit, it's kind of scary. Especially if you're watching me and you're like an actual butcher, because I feel like I am butchering this not only just very badly, but also haphazardly, because I probably am wasting a lot. No, not probably. I am wasting a lot. But at the same time, I'm not really thinking too hard about it. I'm not really too heartbroken about it. Turkey is just kind of mid. It's just meh. I just need enough for what I have plans for this turkey. So that's all I'm really... But yeah, I want to cut all my turkey and chicken up right now, because once I'm done cutting all this stuff up, we're going to get right into cutting some vegetables. It's an anatomy lesson. I mean, if you think about it, it is kind of funny how cooking can turn into an anatomy lesson, just because if you want to learn how to butcher stuff, which is not necessary, but it is interesting. Learning how to butcher something does require a bit of nuance about anatomy. Just because you want to know, like, what are the good cuts, bad cuts, where to cut, how to cut, etc., etc. But yeah, I will mention about if you ever want to, for some reason, cut up a turkey, you essentially just want to treat it like a big old chicken, because that is what a turkey is. It's just a really big chicken that makes you sleepy. But yeah, here's my turkey thigh. And I'm just gonna try to scrape some of the bone, the meat off this bone. The best way to do that, I'm not sure if my camera is really showing it right now. The best way to actually scrape the bone, the meat off the bone, is not using the sharp end of the knife, just because you could actually harm the harm. Well, you could cut yourself, but you can also probably accidentally cut some of the meat off. So I'm just trying to scrape it, not cut off the meat. So I'm using the back end to help scrape that off, while also still trying to maintain as much meat while keeping the bone at least fairly clean. Now granted, I do have to still use the sharp end to get some of the bones off, just because some of the tendons here are just really, really thick. But there we go. A very poorly butchered, but a cleaned up nonetheless, 2 of these thighs. Good, good. So, my leg is like so weird. It's just itchy. Alright. So anyways, hold on, wait, let me just refresh my YouTube chat. Because sometimes my YouTube chat, I'm not sure if YouTube has said anything recently. But sometimes it doesn't like to show up stuff. Alright, cool. I guess no one has been saying anything. Now, here's a fun thing about turkey, or what I like to do with turkey. I like to freeze turkey very, very often, and I feel like out of all things to freeze, turkey is one of the more forgiving meats to freeze. And although this turkey has already been frozen before, it's really not too much of an issue if you freeze it again, in my opinion. So, what I want to do with my turkey thighs, I am going to get some plastic wrap here, and I'm actually going to prep out some roulades. Roulade, or just in simpler terms, I'm going to roll these turkeys up and then freeze them. So then, if the time ever comes of me wanting to, take out some turkey to cook, or if I want to have a quick and easy meal one night, I can just simply roll one of these bad boys up, pull it out of the freezer, throw it in the oven, put a thermometer in it, and then bam, dinner. But I want to make sure it's all nice and prepped and ready and tasty and flavorful, so I don't have to put any effort into making it taste good, you know? So it's very easy to do that. So first, I am going to make sure I season both sides, the inside and the outside. I'm going to use a bit of black pepper. And I just want to season the outside very simply. The inside, I'm going to put a little bit more love. So I'm going to be putting in some good stuff. Of course, I'm going to be putting some black pepper. Some simple sort of stuff. Now we're going to get a little bit more fun. A little bit of garlic powder. Touch a little bit of paprika on the inside. And the thing that makes this into a roulade is that I'm going to now put something inside of it to roll it up in, or roll it up. And if you don't know what I'm going to do, you're silly, because it's turkey. How do you make turkey taste good? You roll 6 batons of butter inside of them. So I'm now just gonna roll this. The butter will help keep a bit of moisture and a little bit of flavor. And now I'm gonna roll this bad boy up nice and tight in the plastic wrap. And now this is all seasoned, ready to be baked. And I'm just gonna do this to help tighten up and give it a bit of shape. And there we go. A nice little turkey roulade. Seasoned, ready to go, and I can bake it off, take it out, do whatever I want with it. It'll become a nice, delicious treat. A nice, delicious dinner. It's just that easy. Same thing with this other one. Gonna give it simple seasonings. And then just roll it upon itself again. Now, there are some more things you can actually do to make this into a more tasty, a bit more elevated of a roulade. You could add herbs, spices, you could add some vegetables, like adding like spinach and stuff inside, making it like a spinach turkey roulade. You could do that too. But I just don't have that on hand. And also, I'm also just a little too lazy for that. There you go. Okay, I just gotta wrap these up a little bit more tight now. Wrapping it up once is good, it works, it gets the job done, but making sure I wrap them again will make sure that they at least don't get too freezer burnt. Because now that's the big issue to worry about, just making sure that it doesn't get freezer burnt. They will definitely keep its shape, but now I just want to try and minimize its overall quality. Oh, well, that's all my plastic wrap. Ooh, jeez. I hope I won't need any more. Man, I didn't know I was that low on plastic wrap. Huh. And I went shopping today, so that just makes me feel that just makes me feel stupid. There you go. Gotta get a Sharpie. And just like most things, it's very important to make sure that you always label what you have. And also this helps keep it a bit more secure, making sure the plastic doesn't come apart. Or if you're like me and you just completely botched it, completely missed where the wrap was. Okay, so turkey thigh cola. Wow. It's like what? 21? No, it's not 21. How many days until Christmas now? It's not that much. It's not that long. Right. Well, enough of that. Now I actually have to clean up my entire area here. There's so much, There's so much just like chicken and turkey juices now everywhere. I gotta just make sure I wipe down the area very good. Try and sanitize everything as best as I can, at least. Okay, there we go. Nice, clean surface. I can actually even see my reflection. Well, not really my reflection, but the reflection of the pot. So, I mean, I kinda can, but my shadow kinda hides it more or less. Okay, I need, board back. Yep. And we're now ready to cut other things. Yay. Oh yeah, I guess I should deal with this stuff too. Huh? Alright, let's see. How am I gonna deal with this? Well, I guess I'm just gonna vacuum seal it all. It's probably the best thing to do. Let me tell you, I'm pretty sure I've sung the praise of this thing over and over again. But really, it is so nice to have a vacuum sealer. Being able to seal off your own food is just really useful. It's good for easy meals. It's good for, well, keeping your stuff fresh still, freezing stuff a bit more efficiently. There's so many plus sides to doing it. Just it is a little tedious, though, I will say, because now I have to cut. Well, I have to cut all these, obviously, but then I have to, what is it? Make sure I reseal the sides. So I gotta do that like 16 times, and then I gotta vacuum seal and suck the air out of each and every single one of them. It's a bit tedious, yeah, but it's very much still worth it in any regard. It keeps the food fresh. That's the biggest thing. Okay. But yeah, how have you guys been doing today? I really hate asking that stuff because it makes me think like, oh man, I really just don't have anything to say right now, which is, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's partially true, but at the same time, I kind of do like doing a little small talk. Which is funny to know that a lot of people don't like small talk. I don't know, I like small talk. I think it's fun. I think it's kind of just like, well, simple small talk. You get to talk, you get to do this, you get to banter even. But the thing about, in my head, about small talk is that small talk is the step to getting into a big conversation or something like that. So small talk builds upon you build upon small talk to get into a good conversation. Oh shoot, I forgot. I want to add I want to add some spices and stuff to my stock here. I want to make it a good quality stock, so I want to add some bay leaves. Some of my really crappy, my real bad ones. Stuff kind of meh. It is kind of annoying to always have bay leaves, but like the bay leaves you want to use are like small and crackly and bad. So usually whenever I make chicken stock or whatnot, I kind of have them in a different container, and then I use those for stock. Just because that they're bad and not really of a standard I want to use them for. Bit in there, you worm. It's kind of gross how just sometimes some things just kind of slide into things like that. This turkey breast just slid into this bag like a worm. Ugh. You know, it is kind of funny to think about turkey because honestly, I'm gonna say it, I'm not really too huge of a fan of turkey. Granted, I don't think turkey is a bad thing. It is very tasty, it's very good, and everything else under the sun to give its praise. However, I do feel it gets a bit boring after a while, to say simply. I don't know, it's just kind of meh. Just kind of, it's like, this is good, but you know what's better? Chicken. Maybe that's my own personal preference. I don't really find turkey to really be so huge or like hype or anything like that. Why am I using streamer terms to explain food? I'm not sure. But I don't really think turkey is like, oh my god, it's so good for your family occasion, all this and that. Oh, especially for holidays. Like, of course, you're gonna use turkey for your turkey days and stuff like that. That just makes enough sense. But I know some people will do turkeys on Christmases and stuff. I think it's kind of meh. I don't really like that. You see, for a good Christmas and all that whatnot, I feel like it's best to use maybe like ham. Doing like a Christmas ham, I think makes a lot more sense in my head. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot more of a wow factor when it comes to ham. But when it comes to turkey, it's just like, oh, turkey. It's Thanksgiving again. Which I guess I get because sometimes, a lot of the times, when it comes to When it comes to doing a Christmas dinner, a lot of people just treat that as a second Thanksgiving. So I get it. But I don't know, don't you want to have something a little bit more fun, a little bit more, I don't know, holiday themed, something a little bit more theatrics? We all had like turkey, like not that long ago, you know? So it's like just a little different at least. Hell, I mean, for me, if I am given the choice, an option to do anything else during a Christmas like dinner, honestly, doing like a good roast is probably better. Like doing like just like something simple, like an eye round is good enough. Even a prime rib is good too. A London broil, anything beef is actually quite nice as well. Doing a bit of like roasted potatoes instead of like mashed, that is normally for like Christmas, usually for Thanksgiving. You know, small stuff like that. You know, it's a slight difference, but it's still a big enough difference to make it feel different from each other, you know? Like, oh yeah, this is definitely Christmas food. Not instead of saying like, oh, this just feels like a second Thanksgiving, you know? Sorry, I'm noticing you guys are you kind of look messy there. Let me just clean you up again. The oil from all the malasadas I've made. Hopefully things are a little bit more clear now. Hopefully. Kind of did just. I almost kind of forgot now. It's Friday, isn't it? I mean, it's Monday, isn't it? Since today is my only day off, it's like, it just feels like Sunday or Saturday. But it's like, I kind of forgot that it's not. It's Monday, isn't it? Alright. Day off from cooking. Time to cook. Yeah, isn't that kind of funny? I mean, I think that's. I mean, not I mean, but you know, that probably has to be one of the bad things about having cooking as a job. Cooking as a job is not really that. It's cool, but then you realize that, oh man, you know, I just don't want to cook today. You kind of realize, oh no, I have to cook today. I have to cook for myself. Well, that is unless you live alone. Like, since I live alone, a lot of my stuff is like, oh man, what do I gotta cook today? Since I live alone, I have to depend on myself and all that stuff, so I can't really depend on someone else going like, oh, you can cook tonight or something like that, you know? Like having roommates and stuff. I do not have a roommate, so I do not have such luxuries. Though it's not to say I can't get a roommate. I definitely know of some people that probably could be roommates with me. That would be very helpful to help cut rent in half. Ooh, that'd be nice. But at the same time, I do value my privacy that much that I'm willing to pay my rent. So, you take what you can get, right? There's the pros and the cons. Just that the con is it's a very high price to pay, quite literally. So, But for me, I don't mind. As long as I have enough finances to keep me steady and not have me on the street, I think I'm fine at the end of the day. Hmm. You know, I kind of do realize I haven't really been doing a lot of soup cooking right now, have I? It's mostly just been breaking down the chicken and turkey, huh? I mean, these are all parts to make the chicken. I mean, to make the soup. Not so much the turkey. I needed to get that done and out of the way before it went bad. So there's that. But still, yeah, I have been just doing a whole lot of nothing so far, huh? I'm sorry, you've been clickbaited. This is just a meal prep stream, actually. I'm sorry, you've been clickbaited. But yeah, it is. I'm very happy about getting these though. Well, I'm just gonna actually be smart here. I'm gonna label them before I actually vacuum seal them, so I don't have to actually worry about labeling them. But getting these legs, they're so fun to actually like cook and bake and all that stuff, and they're even more fun to eat. They're just it's just some sort of like thing. It's like a carnal desire, or maybe just because, you know, when you watch when you watch like cartoons back in the day and you see like characters eating like whole legs of something like that, it kind of just fills that desire that like, man, I really want to do that. But you don't really have turkey every single day, so you don't really have the ability to do that. But it's fun. It's great. But yeah, this is a whole lot of stuff right now. You know, come to think of it, I am thinking about it now because I did briefly touch the idea about it, but like, is breaking down like whole meat and stuff like that, is that actually something against terms of service? Would that be terms of service? Like, I'm not honestly really worried about it, to be honest, because I haven't been banned about it, and I haven't really seen anything that is bad. Is the vacuuming the bag before sealing it? Is it vacuuming the bag? Yeah, it is. It does that, yes. It's kind of nice. It's pretty much automated in that regard. So I can kind of focus on labeling all these and then worry about actually sealing them when they're all ready. It's very, very nice. I mean, this is pretty much what they do in like the grocery stores and all that whatnot, you know? It's pretty much what they do. Not exactly, not verbatim, but this is pretty much what they do. It's just that it's a lot more on an industrialized level, you know? Oh wow, you don't put the year on them. I mean, I don't really want to do that because that implies I have food that is beyond months old, you know? I know that I theoretically can have like this turkey breast sit until next year, but it just doesn't feel right, knowing that this was for my year. It has a really sinking feeling in my head. Like, yeah, this is a legal turkey, and I know it's frozen, but it still rubs me the wrong way. It doesn't make me feel sick. It's just, I don't know. I like to think that I can actually, I actually go through my food within a timely manner, you know? I would forget and find 3-year-old rhyme covered lumps. Ugh. Yeah, no, I I'm usually very good at rotating all my food. Because usually I live off my freezer in that regard. Because I'm trying to make sure I buy a lot and then I save money and all of this and all of that. So I do usually do like one big shopping trip in the beginning or like the middle of a month. And then at that point, I kind of try and work the best as I can off of what I make. Essentially, I'm trying to min-max. I'm trying to min-max my own living expenses just so I can save enough money, so I can have a lot of stuff to do within the next year or whatnot. It's all just for the sense of budgeting and making sure I make enough money and then this and that, paying off rent and this and that. Some might think it's sad, but I'm. And also, like, your food's not as fresh then. Your food's not as fresh then. Blah, 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 blah. I do not care. I don't care because I'm cooking it for myself. If I'm cooking food for myself, I'm not really too worried about how fresh it is, as long as it doesn't get me sick. That's it. The food quality does eventually go a tad down after like 3 months in a freezer, but I don't have stuff that's 3 months old. At most, it is going to be 2 months old, but I like making sure I eat fresh food. So, yeah, I'm not that horrible. All right, last one. Not really tiresome, it's just kind of tedious, you know. You know. Okay, there we go. Everything has been sealed. So, I did forget to mention, because I did briefly touch about it on the beginning of today's stream. I did say, oh yeah, I'm not just making soup today, I'm going to be making something else. If I didn't mention it, I am going to be making gyoza, or pot stickers, or whatever you want to really call them. Just because those are really easy to make ahead of time, and then freeze, or eat fresh, or if I want to have like a dumpling soup or something like that. So that's kind of the plan, really. There you go. Last one. Okay. How's the hate crime on chicken going? We just finished it. They're all dead. And they're being boiled alive as we speak. So yeah, I think it's doing good. Oh dear. Okay. Okay. So I have my vegetables of choice here. I have a lot of veggies. We're gonna be using this stuff to make soup and all that whatnot. So yeah. What else is in the pot? Is that bay leaf? Yes, there are bay leaves in the pot, but we are going to be adding more stuff into it. Kind of why I waited last minute to do all this stuff. Not last minute, but later. Well, hello there, anarchist artist. Thank you for the follow. Thank you. But now this is kind of the point of time to where I start adding some other things. Because to make a good chicken stock, yeah, you want to make sure that you're, You want to make sure you're putting in good bones and all that stuff in there. But another thing that you want to do is to make sure you're putting other things that taste good in there. Such as some vegetables. But the nice thing about what I'm going to try and do here, the reason why I waited to do it till now, is that these veggies I'm cutting are going to be for the soups. So I want to make a good base chicken soup. Like a chicken vegetable soup, you know? So that's going to be requiring carrot, onion, celery, and some garlic, of course. So I need to go grab it. But I can put all like these parchments in there, and that's going to help add a bit of body, a bit of flavor. I'm just going to be dicing up these carrots, making sure I have that into my soup. And then if I have any scraps from my carrots, then I can put that in my stock, which will help reinforce the flavor. So yeah, I like to do my chicken stock like this, almost in like a stage of sorts. I want to do my bones first, because usually when you want to cook off the bones, it's going to take a long time for those bones to extract all that flavor. But then the vegetables, honestly, you want to bake them, not bake, but you want to cook them, simmer them for like around, for around maybe 30 minutes. Because in essence, if you want to make a good vegetable stock, you just need a boil of vegetables for like 30 seconds. Not 30 seconds, 30 minutes. So in that same regard, you can kind of min-max, if you will. You can kind of, I don't know what the word is. You can kind of min-max in the sense of like, oh yeah, I'm going to cut all my chicken first and get that bone started. And then as that's simmering, I can then add my vegetables and such later, which will help imbue even more flavor to my my soup and stuff. Which mod is being added to today's soup? Bush. Mod Bush is going to be thrown into our soup today. He is not here, so he is immediately getting thrown into there to deal with his poor tendons. And also, he's a bush. It just makes more sense to have a bush in a soup versus a person. Also, I'm not sure if anyone notices, but since I don't peel my carrots, just because if I end up dicing my carrots and all that stuff, like this, I need to make flat sides to begin with. So since I have to make flats and panels and all this stuff, I'm going to be trying to level off the pieces of carrot to make it more easy to cut. So it's not really worth the time to actually peel the carrots for myself. I honestly shouldn't really even be making these carrots so small, but I'm also just kind of, I don't know, not really too worried about it. No, good soup. Good soup. Good soup. Funny thing for me is when I do I do my things in a fancy vegetable shredder peeler. I still put it in the food. Sometimes I just don't peel it at all. I mean, the thing about the peels, like the vegetables and all that whatnot, the peels actually have a lot of nutrition and fiber on the outside, I think. So peeling them actually kind of diminishes a lot of the nutrient value. Which is why, like, some corners of my veggies will still have the skin on and all that whatnot. And I'm not really too worried about that, because that's still going to be... I still don't mind eating it. Unpeeled veggies, I don't mind. I think it's almost a bit of charm, even. Having a bit of the unpeeled vegetables and all that whatnot. Yeah, it's a bit of charm. Do you put the carrots in before straining? No. Because usually I only strain my stock once. There are some people out there that will, boil the bones first, and then after the first boil, they'll actually they'll drain the stock, because a lot of scum is built on the top, and it takes out the impurities as well. So it's a lot more of a clear broth if you do it like that. But at the same time, I feel like you almost missed out about a lot of flavor because of that, You're missing out on a potential amount of flavor. So, at home, and since once more I'm not really caring too much about visual quality, when I'm at home I want to maximize the best flavor quality if I can. I'm not too worried about scum, because I know that I could either scrape it off or cook my stock in a timely manner and not worry about not worry about all the issues that would come if you want to make a really good high quality stock in like a professional kitchen. None of that fancy schmancy trying to make sure I'm like, oh, listen to this grandiose chicken consomme looking stock. I just want a good chicken stock that has a good amount of body and flavor. Oh yeah, so you leave everything in? When I'm making my stock, yes. Just because, in essence, the more you add to a stock, the more flavor you're adding. Now, granted, you don't want to add like a whole bunch of weird things into your stock. Well, I mean, it depends on what you're making, really. Like, for me, I'm not gonna want to add, like, a jalapeno to the stock, because I don't want a jalapeno to make my broth spicy. But, like, let's say I'm making, like, a spicy dish, like, maybe a kimchi soup. Maybe I would want to add something with capsaicin, but it depends on application. And I like making, like, an all-purpose stock, just because there's more versatility with that. Like, oh yeah, I can now use the stock to make carnitas, I can use it to make soup, risotto, just cooking vegetables in it, or just making a sauce. I don't make my stocks in particular for anything, really. The only particular thing is just, like, I want to make sure that it has a lot of versatility and multi-purpose to it. And that's pretty much that. As long as you wash it, I always keep the peels. Yeah. Always wash your veggies. It's very important. Even if it says, like, it's already been pre-washed, it is still good practice to still wash your veggies even if they are pre-washed. You never know. Especially when you cut up, like, let's say romaine lettuce, for instance. If it's a whole head of romaine and it says it's been pre-washed, they don't get the inside of the lettuce because, it's a whole lettuce. And so there might be a little bit of sand, a little bit of grit inside. So it's just good to play devil's advocate in that regard. And just, make sure you do another wash on your such and stuff. All my carrots. Right. Celery. Celery is so much easier to cut. Not just because it's also just inherently flat, so it's easier to get more flat sides cut and all that whatnot, but it's also just easier to cut because it's just not as thick. It doesn't have much density, I guess, as carrots do. Do. Do you even put the decrepit ends in? Yes. For stock? Yes. Now, I do understand the idea of like, oh, your stock is only as good as what you put into it. I do understand that notion, and I do agree to that notion. But once more, as long as it's not rotten, it's safe, it's fine to put it in. You can really put anything in the stock, okay? As long as it's not rotten. Because then you kind of contaminate your food and it gets all nasty, and well, you're gonna get yourself sick. You know, it's kind of like common sense. Don't put bad food like that into something that you're making fresh, because then you're just gonna get yourself sick or others. And that's not really good, you know. Do you get much flavor out of the whole celery stalks? So that it. Hold on, wait. So in the soup I'm making, I want to make a potato corn chowder. I'm also making a chicken noodle soup. The chicken noodle soup is gonna have carrot, onion, celery, but my chowder is just gonna have onion and celery. So I had to get a separate thing for that. Aren't they just mostly watertight? I mean, that's the funny thing. A lot of my coworkers actually has a little debate about this. About, yeah, if I ever make mirepoix, or like if I open up my own restaurant, I don't think I would ever really buy celery because celery has no flavor. But I disagree. I think celery has a very, very minute, but a very important flavor profile. I also just really like celery. I think celery has a nice flavor to it. I just don't really know how to explain it other than saying it tastes like celery. But like if you have celery, yeah, it's gonna taste very watery. But when you're adding in the leaves, stalks, the actual pieces of lettuce, piece of celery itself, you're gonna get a lot more flavor. You're gonna get a lot more of the benefits and all that whatnot. It just really depends on how much celery you put in, you know? Like, if I only put in, like, this much celery in a soup, like, if I only put this much celery into this stock, you're not gonna taste it. But since I'm putting in the ends, I'm putting in the leaves, the core, everything into it, you're gonna get a lot more celery flavor. It's all in the manner of quantity. And quality, I guess, and quality. But it's more or less in the sense of, like, quality, of quantity. How much celery you're gonna put into it. And I'm only saying quantity over quality in this regard, because celery, I don't think it really has a good track record of being very good. So it's always just good to make sure you put celery into stuff. And also just saying, I like celery. So I like putting in celery. I like putting a lot of celery in stuff that needs it. Now I want to. Then make it. It's not hard. And if you say that making soup is hard, I think you're not. I think you're just being really lazy. I mean, if you really want to make the most simplest soup in the world, all you need is 3 ingredients. Your ingredient of choice, like a vegetable, water, and salt. One of my favorite things to make, one of my favorite soups to make is broccoli soup. Like cream of broccoli soup. Now, granted, since I'm adding cream into a soup, that's technically 4 ingredients. But making a good quality simple soup is very easy to make. You don't need to add like 20 ingredients, spices, and all this whatnot. Granted, it does definitely help, but it's not really required to make a good soup. I mean, hell, what's in a chicken noodle soup, right? What's in that? Carrot, onion, celery, chicken, stock, garlic, herbs. It's a very simple soup if you really think about it, but people will flock towards that because everyone loves chicken noodle. Or, here, let's go with tomato bisque. How do you make a tomato bisque? Tomato, celery, onion, and garlic, and maybe and cream, of course, because it's a bisque. But like, it's not hard. It's not hard to make a good quality soup. The only issue about making a soup like that is that you're gonna have to blend it, and not everyone has a blender. I mean, I don't even have a blender, but I have a hand blender, so that works good enough. Though I will admit, though, it would be nice to have an actual blender. That should be plenty enough celery. So I'm just gonna chop this piece of celery, save one for a snack. And throw it in the stock pot. Alright. I have carrots, tofu, onions, and dried mushrooms. You can do, just make a carrot soup. You can make a carrot and mushroom soup. You can make a carrot bisque with tofu and mushrooms on top. You want to cut you would want to cut your onions as just slices or rough chop it, saute it in some oil or butter. Then you add your carrots in, like chop the carrots, peel the carrots. You don't have to peel them, just wash them. Throw them all in a pot, throw some water on top. When it gets all mushy, blend it. Then you just, you have your soup. Tofu, you can just cook that however you want, or just put it on top of your carrot soup, and it'll add some nice protein and all that whatnot. The world is your oyster. You just gotta shuck it. Now, I know there is actually, I believe there is like mild debate about adding the parchment of onions and garlic into a soup, because not everyone likes it, and within a good reason. When you add the parchment of onion into a soup, it can give the soup a tad bit of bitterness. And that's not usually always welcomed when you make soup and all that, or really stock, really. You don't really want a bitter soup. You want a nice soup that has, nice savory notes and flavors and all that whatnot. But you see, making a stock in that regard then requires balance. Carrots and celery have enough sweetness. Even onions have some sweetness to them too. So, as long as you're putting in other ingredients to help counteract and balance out the other bitter notes that you're adding with the skins of the garlic and the onion, it should balance out, and the bitterness will actually help give you a bit more of a unique flavor to build off of, since your stock is then working in unison with everything else. the more kind of the funny thing is, the more kind of flavors you put into your soup and your food, really, the more unique your food's gonna taste, and more, I don't know how you say it, but more dynamic, I guess. But it's not gonna be like, oh my god, it's so mind-bogglingly different and flavorful, and like, oh, I can. It's not like anything like that. It's very minute, honestly, in the grand scheme of it all. But sometimes those big steps can make your food just a tad more fun to eat, a bit more tastier. There you go. All of my onions. I actually did go to as I was at the store today, I actually did buy more onion, so I'm gonna use one of them at least. But hey, I'm gonna show you how to make a real simple soup, because I accidentally bought broccoli, and I don't really want to eat all of what I got. What I mean by accidentally bought broccoli, I got it because it was on sale, but then I kind of realized, geez, that's actually a lot of broccoli. So I'm gonna show you how to make a very, very simple soup here, as long as you have a hand blender. So I got on my pot, and I'm just gonna throw in a few knobs of butter. So put a few cubes of butter in there, and now I'm going to very quickly slice an onion. Nope. I'm gonna throw this onion in here, and I'm gonna cook that all down. I'll make sure that I cook it down even quicker. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt, little bit of salt, and I'm also now going to start crushing up this garlic. Actually, I could have bought more garlic too. Yeah, and since I'm blending this into a soup, I actually don't really need to mince this. All I need to do is just do a really quick slice. I'll slice my garlic, throw it all in. I'll do another clove for good measure. I'd like a nice garlic flavor in all my soups. Yep. And I'll have that cooking. Meanwhile, I'm just gonna kind of just mince some garlic. I need garlic for every other soup I'm gonna make today, so I'm just gonna peel all this garlic and just throw it all into my soup. Into my stock. Now, I do remember about something about, oh yeah, you want to make sure that your garlic isn't blooming like how mine is. I think it makes your garlic more bitter. But honestly, I don't really notice too significant of a difference. And also, I'm partially just don't care, to be honest. It's not like it has cyanide or anything in it, so it's fine. Honestly, what I should have done, I should have actually saved maybe a clove or two of these garlics, because I could actually probably grow them within the next year coming. That's what I want to try and do this year. I want to try and make a nice big garden and try and grow a lot of stuff. I definitely want to make sure I grow my herbs as I normally do. Parsley, I want to grow thyme, and maybe a bit of rosemary as well. I grew some rosemary this year as well, but it didn't really grow as quickly because I think I grew it too late into the season. So it didn't really have enough time to grow and develop. But I want to, what is it? I want to try and grow some more stuff within the coming year. I definitely want a cucumber plant. I really, really love cucumbers. And then I can make some pickles, and that'll be fun. Gonna add a bit of water in here. Yep. I would like a little bit more minced garlic, but hey, it works. Hey, now, to make a good broccoli soup now. So this is actually kind of good to be in this situation, because I have two things of broccoli, and I obviously don't want to eat the stems. However, the stems are good for stock. But not just that, but I actually want to cut off the hardier ends, like the really, really woody parts of the stem, because that is just very watery, doesn't really have as much flavor really. But the stems that are more to the top here, I'm going to try and slice them really thin. But this is actually going to be a part of the soup. Trying to maximize broccoli flavor, but also try and minimize waste. Even though that, you know, if I were to throw them into my stuff, I am, in a sense, still kind of wasting it because I'm not eating it actually. But if I do this, I am actually making sure I actually get the full benefit of eating broccoli. And also, I get to actually save and make sure that I only get florets. So then when I want to eat some broccoli, I get broccoli florets. And not like these weird little bits right here, which I'm honestly going to cut up and then throw into my soup. Now, could I actually just use that as a floret to eat? Yes, I 100% can. But I don't want this much broccoli, so I'm just trying to make an excuse so you can listen to me as I then put it in music for soup. Now I will say I am making this into a cream of broccoli because I like cream. Essentially, cream is great. I love that. So, yeah. Not that. Alright. Gonna clean my board off. Now I just gotta add some water to this. Because now, essentially, the big thing about making a vegetable soup like this, I just really need to make sure that I boil and overcook the vegetable itself. The more overcooked the vegetable is, the more easy it's gonna puree into a nice smooth consistency. Now I have something vegetable soup on the stovetop. Hey, that's good. Soup is soup. Soup is good. Soup is a great thing to have. Which is what I thought this week too, because this week has been fairly cold, but not uncomfortably cold. It's just been kind of chilly. Hold on. Gotta put away my broccoli. Alright. So recently this week, the weather's been kind of gravitating in around 20 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit, which is like -2, -5 degrees Celsius. So to say at the very least, it's been fairly cold here. But I love that. I love the cold. It's kind of cozy, it's cold, it's easier to get cold to hot than hot to cold. And I think it's a much more pleasant experience, especially when I work in a hot kitchen all day. It's a lot more nice, it's a lot more lovely. So, I very much appreciate the cold more than the heat. Blazing hot summer, I don't really like. I love this time of the year when it's just real cold. And I thought, like, oh, wow, it's really cold this week. I can't wait to make some soup so I can heat up after I get back from work. Lo and behold, it's apparently going to be in the 48s or like the 50s and 60s this week. And I'm a little bit annoyed because I didn't check. So I only have anyone to blame but myself here. But man, I was like, ugh, come on. I was going to have such a nice, lovely week of having nice, homemade, fresh soups. But hey, it's not changing my plan. I'm still making soup. So yeah. And also, soup is just such an easy food to get ready and hot. So there's that too. Convenience. Convenience. It's a lot more convenient than really microwaving anything else. Alright. Well, how long has it been? How long have we been streaming for? An hour, 49 minutes? Okay. I'm gonna let that brew for a little longer. What is it? The broth. So, let's have fun with our downtime here. I'm gonna make some pot stickers, some dumplings, some fillings, and stuff like that, you know? So I have some of this snap cabbage. And I had some ground beef that I had left over. So in my head, it's like, oh, why not make some pot stickers? They're always fun to make. There's a bit of technique to it too. So, and that I had this nap of cabbage I wanted to get rid of. So yeah, why not? Now I'm gonna go on and say, like, what I'm doing right now, this is something I would not really normally do. Putting this cabbage into the stock here is really weird. I'm not gonna lie, it's really, really strange. There's no reason, and like, cabbage really is just really just water. But like, once more, I'd rather it be in the stock than this regard, because it's not gonna really add anything that diminishes value, and still help it give a bit more pleasant. It's gonna be more of a benefit than a negative. So I want to thinly slice some of this cabbage into like nice shreds. I'm now gonna get a bowl, and I'm gonna throw in my cabbage. Throw in a nice bit of the cabbage here. I've had some ground beef I have been having thaw out a bit. I'm gonna throw that just in here, just like that. And now I'm going to add some other flavorings. So add some soy sauce. Sesame oil. And of course, if I'm cooking something that's going to be fairly Asian, MSG. Good stuff. And well, not much else to do, but just kind of mix this all by hand. I might want to add more Napa cabbage, actually. I'm looking at this now and kind of feeling it too. I think I'd have a bit more roughage in here. Yeah, hold on, I'm gonna add more roughage. Now, I'm not really sure how much more I want to add, but the more the merrier. You know what they say, the more the merrier. There we go. That should be plenty. Now the key word is it should be plenty. I like making sure if I want to make a gyoza filling, I want to make sure it's like almost 50-50. Like meat to vegetable. Because then I can very much say like, oh, what I'm eating is healthy. Ooh, so nice, so good. That's better. That, and also if it's like an even 50-50, that means there's more dumplings I can make. So, in a sense, I'm almost bulking it out. Bulking it out, giving myself more food. It's great. Wonderful. Oh yeah, I want to add a, what is it? I do want to add a bit of this ginger here. It's nice to add a bit of freshness. So I'm just going to just peel off the peel here. And one of the best ways to peel the skin off ginger is using a spoon. why would you want to? And now you might want to think like, why would you want to use a spoon versus like a peeler of sorts? Using a peeler can't really get into like those weird knobs. Look, this piece of ginger I saw after doesn't have any knobs to it, so I could have just used my peeler. But using a spoon versus a peeler, the spoon can kind of get into really tight and weird and awkward places. So it's very useful for that. Now, I am not going to actually add any of this ginger into the stock. If I was making this, if I was making a ginseng soup or maybe I don't know, ramen broth maybe, but even that's pushing it. I would have added some, but nah, it's too much. Ginger is too strong of a flavor for me to try and balance. But I'm now actually going to make sure I shred them. Want to shred this ginger. It's gonna be a lot more easy to infuse into my dumplings if I am shred it versus mincing it. And also, just to be honest with you, it's easier too. So like, yeah, I can tell you the thing of like, oh yeah, no, you should learn how to dice ginger. It's better to dice ginger, blah, 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 blah. But like, if you want my honest opinion, making sure, if you just have a means to shred or like finely grate your ginger, I personally think it's better. Now granted, not for all applications, but for applications where you want to really make sure that the ginger shines through, this is one of those instances where it's like, yeah, you really want to make sure ginger is a very prominent figure in this. That I also like ginger. Well, I think that's pretty much all the vegetables I used today. Oh, wait, no, I got one more vegetable. So I'm actually gonna throw this into the refrigerator for now, so I don't let that get too hot, too warm. So I don't get myself sick here. I forgot, I gotta cut a potato. Okay. A little food for thought. Did you know, for a chowder to be considered a true chowder, you actually need potatoes in it? Or if that's not true, my school has taught me incorrectly again. But for a soup to properly be called a chowder, you need potatoes. A lot like how a bisque, if you want something to be called and considered a bisque, you need cream. So at the same time, the thing about bisque, I'm not sure by definition, but usually most bisques are going to be seafood based, which is sounds kind of normal when you think about it, but then the issue comes is like tomato bisque. Tomato bisque is a very common soup that everyone really should know. But the thing about that is that it has no seafood in it, now does it? Tomato bisque is tomato with cream. It's not really a seafood-based soup. It's a tomato soup. It's a cream of tomato soup. But very often, you'll see restaurants call like cream soups a bisque. Like, oh yeah, instead of calling something like a cream of mushroom, it sounds better to advertise it as a mushroom bisque, you know? The reason why that's a thing is just purely because of marketing. I mean, what would you rather try and what would you rather want to order? Would you rather want to order something called a mushroom? Rather order something called a mushroom bisque, or would you want to just get something that's got cream of mushroom? Cream of mushroom sounds very. How would you say? It sounds too simple. But when you say bisque, oh my god, the bisque. It's such a high, it must be such a velvety, creamy, delicious, high-end soup. But in the essence, it's just a cream of mushroom soup. Fun little tidbit, if you want to know about the thought of like menu making. If you just make something sound good, then it's like, wow, sounds so good. Mushrooms and crayfish sound really good. It does. Honestly, that sounds like a very wonderful soup. Mushrooms are just always creepy, so there's that. Okay, and also, real question here. Sorry, I keep bumping into you guys. For the fellow Americans in chat, how do you pronounce crayfish? Do you say crayfish or do you say crawfish? I know it's kind of a regional thing. I'm pretty sure it depends on where you live. Like, I know in more the southern Americas, they'll call crayfish crawfish, but I am part of the more northern parts of America, so I call it crayfish. Or at least I think that's the case. I think that's like the thought process when it comes to all of that. Do I know, is that exactly true? I'm not sure, but I think that is. I can't remember. I'm not a I'm not a language arts. I'm not an English major. I'm a cook teacher. Yeah, still tough. A bit more tough. Okay. Well, I got all of my veggies up here, cut up and ready to go and to make it soup. But to make the soup still, I need my broth, which is still currently being simmered. So I guess now it's not really a bad idea to taste it. How does the broth taste? Actually, it's pretty good. Really nice, strong chicken flavor, and all the other veggies that come in just help enhance it all. But there is something that I just kind of realized is missing, of which I need to go outside. I will be right back. Alright, I'm back. And I got the goods. I have gotten myself a whole big old branch of thyme that I got from my garden here. So, I just realized after tasting the soup that it tastes good, but it feels like it needs a little bit more oomph. And that little bit of oomph can come from our herbs. A little bit of herbage can take something a long way. So, giving a bit more aroma, a bit more herbage flavor would be very helpful. And also, just thyme is just such a wonderful herb to work with. such a multi-purpose herb, wonderful multi-purpose herb. And also, I'm trying to use this as much as I can because, well, winter's coming, so I want to try and utilize it as best as I can before it all dies, you know? Timing, though. It's time. As you can actually see, this plant is the plant I picked from is pretty much dying, but it has a nice bit of hardness to it. Thyme is a very, it depends on the time really, but some thymes are very, very, very like hardy plants. I'm also I'm pretty sure it's notable, but I'm also adding some of the stems into the stock. It's still, some of the stems I'm being very wary of. I want to try and make sure I'm not adding ones that are like extremely woody, because then it just makes your stock taste like wood. But having a bit of the herbs still attached to it helps just still imbue a bit of the thyme flavor. So I'm trying to make sure I'm just adding as much thyme as I can without adding any of the dead branches. But yeah, that stock is almost pretty much done. I do want to make sure as I make this soup, I do want to actually add some thyme into my chicken noodle. The best thing to add to like a chicken noodle soup is always adding a bit of thyme. You can always add as much garlic as you want. You can always add as much chicken as you want. But I feel like if you want to elevate your chicken noodle soup or your chicken and vegetable soups, you need a bit of herbage. You need a bit of thyme. Thyme just adds that really nice herbal flavor to soups or whatever you want to make, really. Just feel like it's such an important thing to add. And especially since I have so much time, it's going to be so nice to add all of it. Plate here, and any extra bits of thyme, honestly, I'm probably going to throw into my stock just to make sure I'm imbuing as much flavor in there as like flavor. All I'm thinking about. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. Oh, they are starting to break apart at this point. Oh, wait, let me just test this by tasting it. I mean, that should be squishy. That should be overcooked enough. Well, with that revelation now, I'm going to actually move our broccoli soup right here for now. And we're going to just start blending it. Alright. I'm actually gonna add a pinch of thyme into it. Thyme just goes well. I never feel right about blending broccoli. Yeah, I understand that. Just because at this point it does look like baby food, so I don't blame you. But you have to admit, it does make a killer soup. And also, there is a good reason why I make my broccoli soups into a cream of broccoli, because just that visual alone isn't really very pleasing to look at. But then when you add a bit of cream, it helps lighten up the color a bit. Makes it look less like gruel and more like a nice beige. Also, one of the reasons broccoli is interesting is shape, and blending always destroys that. Yeah. Like, it's just really fun to look at broccoli, because it makes you just feel like you're a giant eating trees. So there's a bit of fun, there's a bit of flair, and you miss that when you blend it all up. Let's see here. Ooh, that's good. But now I want to add a bit more richness. But I don't want to kill it with cream. So actually the best way to add a bit of richness is actually throwing in some... Okay, well... making sure you throw in not the entire thing of butter, but a good chunk of butter. I'm smart. And there we go. That's good. I really like that. Needs a bit more salt. There's something wrong with me, I know. But just a touch of MSG. Just a touch. And there we go. Let's see here. Yeah, that's it. That's good broccoli soup. Nice creaminess, but since I didn't add a lot of cream, and I added butter, it still adds a nice rich note to it. The broccoli still pushes through. There's a bit of nice sweetness from the onion and garlic. And it's just a good soup. It's good soup. There's nothing really to explain here. It's just good soup. Good soup. Good soup. Also, just saying, I like to think soup is like one of the best food for children because I know a lot of I feel like a lot of children don't like vegetables and like la. But like if you say, oh, we're gonna have a nice soup today, like cream of broccoli, they taste cream and they don't really think about the broccoli and it's like, oh, this is the best soup I've ever had, you know? Now I will let you know. Not much, but I'm not sure if anyone else agrees, but this I believe it is like a actual fact. Oh, perfect. Nice. Soup. I'm gonna just quart this up and let it cool down, and then have it probably within the next week or so. Well, just gotta move some stuff around in my refrigerator. So I'm not sure if anyone else agrees on this, but soup always just does taste better the next day. Now, let's face it, it always does. And I think it's actually a proven fact because soup just tastes better the next day because when everything's kind of sitting together in the broth and the flavor just kind of sits and like melts together, it adds just like that nice, wonderful emulsion, not emulsion, but it just all just kind of gets to know each other. It just gets to sit in its flavor and just enhances everything. Which is why, which is like, which is why I think like if a place does a soup du jour or like a soup of the day, I kind of do hope that it's the soup of yesterday. Just because I genuinely think that soup does taste better and will taste better when you give it a day for all the flavors to settle together. It's one of those things where it's one of those foods that I don't mind having it knowing that it's probably a day old. Just because with that, it has a bit of not insurance, a bit of time to meld together, a bit of time to get better flavor and all that, you know? It's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like bread. Bread will always taste better if you give it time to rest. So I like to think of it kind of like that, I guess. But it's a little bit different. Some soups are better the day of, but then there's a lot of soups that are just better the next day. You know one of those soups? Noodle soups. Noodle-based soups. They are always better the next day. And that's because if you put your noodles in your broth, when you put your noodles in the broth, sorry, I want to get a bowl here, just because I want to make sure I get an even amount of onion, celery and onion. When you add your noodles and stuff to a broth, and you let that noodle sit overnight. When the noodles sit overnight, they absorb the broth, and that broth has so much flavor from all the ingredients you add, so it just melds all together. It makes a beautiful, beautiful flavor bomb of like your noodles are basically gonna taste like your soup. I think some of the best soups out there. Why like chicken noodle soup is one of those soups that's like always better than you know? Right, there we go. It's often tastes better fresh because I made it when it felt like soup. Soup you had. What's more, it also kind of depends, you know? I think the next soup I'm gonna make is going to be the chowder. I think that'll just make more sense. Equals soup of yesterday. Soup de hen. Maybe it's just a preference thing, I'm not sure. But I genuinely think soup is better the next day. I know I'm using a lot of butter. I know I'm using a lot of butter as I make all these soups and all that. But listen, I'm trying to maximize flavor. And also, what is it? Chowder already has a whole lot of cream in it. So it's like, it's not like I'm not adding something that isn't going to be a part of it to begin with, you know? That and I'm American. We love cream. Actually, no. Actually, that's the French. The French love cream. They love butter. They love all that stuff. So, I don't know where I was going with that. Disregard. It's good stuff. Maybe just give it a bit more time. But I think we'll be able to make our soup. Okay. Mirepoix. Touch of the garlic. And, yeah. Oh, wait, did I say I was gonna make the chowder first? I lied, I'm making the corn chowder first. I mean, the chicken noodle soup first. Sorry, I have the tendency to do that. I lie a lot. Now, one might think that's a lot of vegetables, but listen, hear me out. It's all gonna cook down, so it's fine. But I have a whole bunch of this chicken because I had a roaster chicken I got. So this chicken's already cooked, so I don't have to worry about anything like that. And all I have to do is just chop it down. Roaster chickens, best thing. Because now, if you can really use roasted chicken meat for really anything, like, yeah, you can eat it just how it is. But, like, a roaster chicken, you can use it to help make soups. You can make chicken salad. You can put it on a salad. You can really do it. You can make a stir fry with it, a chicken stir fry. It's just so nice to have. It's just so handy. But yeah, I'm gonna just cook this all down. I'm gonna add a bait. Cream of butter. Okay, listen. I like soups, and I know I'm putting a lot of butter in everything I'm making, but cream of butter, that just sounds cute. That's just milk. Or cream. You're just drinking cream. Listen, I'm adding so much vegetable though. It balances out. The 3 tablespoons of butter I added has nearly 4 cups of vegetables. It balances out. For every tablespoon of butter, I put in a cup of vegetables. It is fine. Do not worry. Almost like fried butter. Ah, yes, I love myself having fat dipped in fat. You see, I'm not doing that. I'm more or less doing like a deep fried water, you know? It's kind of healthy because it's literally no calories, but it's deep fried, so it's not as healthy as it could be. Deep fried butter, imagine that. I mean, deep fried water. I know you can actually make deep fried butter, which is heinous, but it just sounds so stupid. That's a real thing. I know it's a real thing. That's why I said it. But it doesn't help but make me sad still. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, unfortunately a real thing, and I don't like it. Alright, just got my corn, and I just have frozen corn. Corn is just not in season anymore, so unfortunately I have to deal with the frozen stuff. I hate frozen corn, because it just gets yummy. Oh wait, this is for chowder. Never mind. Alright, smelling good right now. Do I want to add all of this? Yeah, I want to add all of it. This is only for the chicken noodle soup anyways. Right, I'm gonna add my chicken. So let that all roast together, I guess. Kind of let it sit almost. Well, it's not really roasting or anything. If anything, it's more or less steaming. But now I'm going to let that do its thing pretty much. But I'm going to get my colander and I'm going to drain off all that stuff out. Okay. Okay, definitely got a lot of stock now. Maybe at least a gallon's worth? Alright, here, I'm gonna just measure out a quart, because I at least want a quart of stock. Oh, okay, so I have a half a gallon's worth of stock. Good. There we go. That is now about a good lot of soup. So now I'm just gonna let this simmer. And there we go, we got soup. We got chicken soup. Chicken vegetable soup. How much other stock? Yeah, pretty much exactly another quart. So half a gallon. I'm just gonna let that simmer now. Give it time, let it do its thing, give it a few moments in the pot. And now I'm gonna do my other soup. Actually, wait, I gotta dump out all these veggies still. All of this. Yep. Okay. Well, I'll work on the last soup here. Now, I only have a smaller pot to work with, a bigger pot to work with, so hey, that's nice. A bit more leeway to work with, but pretty much the same song and dance as the other two. Some notches of butter. And then I'm going to be adding all of the same old aromatics and all that whatnot, as we know. Trying to just clean up all my mess as I go. If I clean up as I go, I have less to clean up in the future. Trying to be smart while working in my own kitchen. Alright. Same song and dance. Carrot. I mean, not carrot, because I like a nice colorless, not colorless, but a nice baked soup, I guess. So, same song and dance. Carrot. Not carrot. Onion, celery, garlic. I'm gonna have the corn in now too, because why not? And just like most of these soups today, I'm gonna add some bay leaves. It's always good to add the bay leaves right now, just because. What is it? I'm gonna look for something real quick. Oh, do I not have any more? Oh, there it is. Okay. It's always good to add dry herbs the time you're sauteing everything down. Just because when you do that, you're also rehydrating the herbs as well. Because these are dry herbs. And they were dehydrated of all their liquid and all that. So rehydrating them again will help boost the amount of flavor and all that mumbo jumbo. Trying to make sure I cook all the veggies until they're translucent. You know, simple jargon. And yeah. Alright. I gotta get rid of this trash. It is getting warm in here. Just like most time, just like most time in my kitchens, it just gets so hot when everything is just going for like 2 hours straight, you know? That looks good enough now. So now I'm gonna add my potatoes in. And my stuff. And there we go. That's pretty much the chowder. But as you know, chowder has it's a little bit more of a thick soup. Sorry, I'm cleaning out some of the stuff here. So it's kind of weird that, you know, my chowder, I didn't add a roux, because usually you would want to add your roux before you add your stock, because then that helps thicken it up and all that whatnot and all that such, you know? But for me, I have a very, but I have a special ingredient. I have something to help thicken it and also keep it gluten-free, because of, I don't know why I'm worried about that, but it's more or less because I want to try to thicken up my soup, and also using some leftovers I have as well. I'm not sure how common of a practice this is. I know it's a common practice when you make this specific soup, but I'm actually going to be using some extra mashed potato I have. I know, it sounds strange, using mashed potato to use as a soup thickener, but it does make sense, because it will help thicken the soup, and also helps me reutilize stuff that I might throw out. And also, hey, added benefit, it's gonna be gluten-free, I guess. Now, don't get me wrong, this does not mean I'm not adding cream. I am definitely adding cream to this. I thought the proper thickener was hardtack. I mean, I bet that's probably the traditional thickener, but I have mashed potato here, and I didn't have enough potato I want in there. So I'm adding some of this mashed potato in here. It'll thicken it very nicely. And it'll also add some nice richness too, because the mashed potato has fat, butter, cream, because that's how I make my mashed potato. But I'm not going to try and use all of it, because potato can make your soup very thick. I just want my soup just moderately thick, because I am adding cream and all that. Very soft tap. You mean like butter? Because it just now more or less sounds like you're trying to allude towards butter. I mean, not butter, bread. Mashed potatoes, exactly. I actually might need to add all my mashed potato into this, just because it's so much soup. Which I'm not opposed to, but yeah, I'm fine with it. A bit of a unique thickener, so yeah. This is very solid looking mashed potato. How much of it is butter? I think butter would make it look softer, I think. But it's just because that's how mashed potato is. When it sits for like a day or two, it's going to get, you know, it's just gonna get thick. It's gonna get, what's the word? It's just gonna get hard and all that. Potato creates. If anything, adding like potato as a thickener is kind of like adding like a slurry, just because it's mostly starch and it's gonna thicken up your soup definitely. So yeah, it's kind of more like it's gonna be acting more like a slurry, but I'm not gonna really notice it until it starts to boil. So yeah. Also, I know this is weird. I know this is weird, but I kind of like eating cold fish. Very strange, but I don't know. I'm used to eating cold food. Sometimes you get home from work and whatnot, and you just want to eat something, and you don't care about microwaving it, so it just works. May I have a bite? You want a bite of my cold mashed potato? I mean, sure, if you want. Right. Here we go, chat. It's ice cream. Pretend it's ice cream. Eat it. Alright, I'm gonna just add a little bit. I'm just gonna. But yeah, there we go. Now there's gonna be plenty thick now. And also have a nice, good potato flavor as well. And also, it's kind of nice because now I was able to utilize old stuff, which is kind of the beauty about soup. You get to use old stuff. You get to use old stuff to the fun thing about soup is you get to utilize old stuff to make something nice, fresh, and new. So soup is just a good way to reutilize stuff. You lied. I did lie. How am I doing today? I'm doing good. Doing good. We're just relaxing with chat today. We're kind of just vibing. We just do vibing, and we're making soups. Now, I was gonna make another soup, but didn't feel like it. But yeah, that potato chowder now, that corn potato chowder does look pretty good. I'm now gonna let it simmer on low, but of course, because I'm heinous and disgusting, I do want to finish it with just a little bit of cream. Not a lot. Just because the potato already had all those ingredients inside. So. The mashed potato. Now that my soup is ready, I feel like something else. Eggnog, baby. Eggnog? That's weird. With soup? Ooh, that's good chowder. It's just bland. That's because I didn't add any salt. So, good soup. Good soup. Good soup. Cravings are inscrutable. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Now that's a good chowder. Nice, flavorful, rich, hearty. Good soup. But yeah, now I'm just gonna let these soup. Now the best thing about soups is letting them go low and slow. Just do that. Okay, well, that's pretty much our main stuff for today. That we could now end stream and call it a day, but this chowder has no protein yet, right? Yeah, no, it's just a corn chowder. I wanted just a simple sort of simpler soup. Anyways, now I'm gonna do some tedious work. Because did you guys forget about that? I'm going to now finish off today's stream by just making up some gyozas, some wrappers. So I got my chair here. I'm here with my soups here, simmering down. And I got some wrappers. So we're gonna make some okay. I could actually make this soup into a chicken wonton soup. That would be kind of nice. But yeah, this is gonna be kind of challenging because these are not circles, but squares. I actually gotta get my hold on. I want to try to attempt to see if I can make a gyoza. So I got a little circle cutter here. Oh, that's gonna be a really small gyoza. Gyoza chowder. Maybe. I actually need to think. So my hands just don't stick every 5 minutes. Let's see here. Now, I'll I'll give an honest truth here. I don't know how to shape gyoza, so how I'm gonna shape this is gonna probably be really, really bad. But I'm gonna find out. Sides, though, I know that's kind of the main thing. Just wetting the sides here. Now, one side, then the other side. I do like a fan like pattern. Okay, hold on. It looks kind of funky. Try to undo it right now. Yeah, I think I overdid the filling. It's like the big thing about making dumplings and like pastas, shapes, and all that whatnot. No, try to make sure that you don't overfill it. But I kind of did overfill it. But there you go. Little tiny little gyoza. Isn't that cute? Look at that little guy. Look at this champion. Isn't that nice? Alright, I'm gonna leave this guy right here. So, got one made. Several more to go, I guess. Man, this is gonna be a lot of little mini gyoza. Have a gyoza night, or like, I don't know. A night just to eat some nice dumplings. Beef dumplings. So I'll leave my board here, and I'll be making some dumplings. So now we have not downgraded, but now this chat has turned from a cooking stream into a just chatting chat. So hi chat, how you doing today? How are the wife? How are the kids? Did any of you like that? That's probably a good question to ask. Have any of you ever tried to make gyoza? I have made it at home on a few occasions, but it is kind of labor intense in the sense that it takes a lot more effort to make than anything. So I don't very much make it, but at the same time, there's not many places around where I live to where I can get a decent one, or actually where I can get any at all. So unfortunately, if I want to have a gyoza, I have to make it myself. It's not very often I make it, unfortunately, in that regard. Just because it is a bit of a pain. But my thought is now, if I just make a whole lot of them, freeze them, then I can have pretty much gyoza whenever I'd like. Okay, that one's better, I think. I'm not sure. I think that's better. There you go. That's two. It's kind of funny, because I actually have to make, like, what is it? I probably put, like, a teaspoon's worth of filling into it, which is kind of a stupid funny amount, because it's not much. Let's see, is a teaspoon a good amount? I think that's the perfect amount. If only I can actually do the folding of these correctly now too. But this is gonna be kind of nice because gyoza is one of those things where it's like it's really nice to have. You can fry them. You can well, steam them. Obviously, they're actually fairly versatile on how you want to prepare it. They can go through many of a kind of preparation. But there's like no I don't know, Asians in chat, because I feel like I am doing these incredibly wrong, and I'm just like, it's like if you made pasta and you had an Italian, like a real Italian watching you. I kind of feel like that kind of pressure, you know what I mean by this. Like, the pressure of like failing Asian food kind of feels like you're failing up Italian food as well. Which I can probably say I'm pretty good at making, but like most Asian food I feel like I'm really bad at making. Like aside from ramen, because I feel like it's really hard for me to screw up ramen. I like ramen, so, and I have it fairly often, or at least I used to have it fairly often. Not the instant pack stuff, if that's what anyone's thinking. But for gyoza and all that whatnot, I never really had it. One of those things I kind of wish I had more often, and I would ask my parents more often about if I could have it. But I think the big thing at the end of the day was it just wasn't in the area at the time. It was mostly like, you know, hamburgers and hot dogs and all that sort of silly wumbo jumbo. The area I lived in was very, very American, so there wasn't much ethnical kind of foods and all that whatnot. But it was kind of nice though. Not kind of nice, but there was one person I had in my childhood who was really, really cool, and his mother would I would play at his house very often. But at that time, we would play for so long that they would invite me for dinner sometimes, and they had amazing food. These people had like, I think they were Mexican or at least Spanish of some sorts, and they made like some excellent, like really good fresh tortillas. I kind of wish I was into food back then, because I would really want to ask like, hey, how'd you do this? What'd you put into this? I wish I was more into food back then, but like that was probably like my first kind of ethnic food that was like really mind-blowing of like, wait, this is really, really good. Okay, I don't know how many dumplings. That's 2, 4, I've made 6 so far. And I have, this much left. Oh my god, this is gonna take forever. Okay. We're gonna be here for a while. Right. We're here for the long run at this point. Oh boy. On the bright side, here's the silver lining. This is gonna be a lot of gyoza now. And also there's plenty of time for my soup to actually not settle down, but like, have time to just, do its thing. Hope my phone battery doesn't die. That's like the big issue when it comes to doing these streams, because I love doing cooking streams, and it's really fun when they're real long too. It's just that my phone disagrees and dies very quickly. It makes me think that I should invest in like a burner phone or something like that. I think it's called like a burner phone, just so I can have that on, just so I can have something else to depend on other than my normal phone that I use for pretty much everything. I kind of want to see if there's anyone that wants to just chat with me, just because I'm bored. I don't know. I can only talk about myself for so long because I am not a fun, interesting person. And I go out and say it. I'm a boring kind of guy. If I don't know what to say here. I'm very vanilla. I'm very simple. But you know, there's nothing wrong with that, honestly. But I do acknowledge that sometimes listening to someone who is vanilla, that is kind of boring. Or maybe you're just here to relax and vibe. Maybe just hear some soft banter. Low-key ASMR, I guess. Hey, your world, your life, you chose to click on this channel, and I appreciate you. Or maybe you're hate watching me. But you know, that's also would be kind of cool. Listen, if someone hate watches you, you know you've done something in the world towards like someone acknowledges your existence and they hate you for it online. Like when it's in real life, it's a little bit more personal and it gets a little bit more scary because like, you know, they're right in front of your face. But the online sphere, out of everyone to hate, they hate you for some random reason. I think that's almost like that's like a very lovely pleasure. Just because like you've made it somehow. For some reason, this person hates you. That's how you know you're a big content creator, trademark. That being said, I still do imagine that getting hate is not fun though. Not saying I want haters, but I do know that if I do get haters, that's usually a good sign of like, oh geez, I've made it big now. I'm now gonna tour college campuses and do this and that, you know? And the greatest things is sliced bread now. If anything, I kind of wish, and not kind of wish, but like, you know what this would be really nice to do? This would be like a really nice like off thing. Really, it would be. I imagine this would be a lot more fun if you had someone to do this with. Which is why I think like when people talk about fond memories of doing something like this with like their family and whatnot, I think that's kind of like the thing of like why this food is like so nostalgic for a lot of people. Being able to make this stuff as you grow up with your family and then being able to eat it, I imagine that's like core memory stuff. That like is so important for like it's really important. Fortunately, I don't really have many of those, honestly. And if I do, I kind of can't remember right now. Kind of a in the moment person towards like I can't recall something unless it's like relevant to what I'm talking about. And I guess I should try and actively think now, trying to, but I don't. I'm not really sure I can recall anything right now that's like a food that I would help my parents make. Holy heck, because like my parents really did coddle me as a child. Not to say I'm not grateful for it, I guess, but like, damn, they treated me like a baby, and they still kind of do, and it is kind of annoying because it's like, please let me make a mistake, let me fail, let me do some crime, let me do something bad. But unfortunately, it's just too much into my soul. I can't do crime. It's hard. What's all going with that? I'm just kind of thinking, like, why was I talking about that? Let me go do crime. Jeez. Tangents. Love going on tangents. No, I'm honestly thinking too. I don't think I'm gonna have enough wrappers for this, albeit, really. It's quite a handful of stuff here. I don't know, yeah, I can't really recall anything, really. I mean, the only thing that I really remember when it comes to cooking as a child is just really kind of just helping my mom and dad make mashed potatoes, and then complaining about, Mom, these mashed potatoes are overcooked. But that's also not my fault. I'm gonna say that right now. My parents really love overcooking things. Well, okay, my mother really likes overcooking things. And I like to tell her that still. Like, hey, Mom, if you make this and that, can you not overcook it this time? There's a lot of food to where, like, man, she makes some really good food. Baker Mom makes lots of good food, but, like, hey, can you just, like, not overcook it? Can you cook it to, like, the right, internalized temperature? Please, please, you don't need to cook this to absolute, you don't need to cook this how you would cook chicken. It's okay if it's a little under. It's preferred if you actually make it under. I know, like, one of the things that my mother loves to cook, but it's kind of like a real funny gag. My mother does make some really good, like, meatloaf, meatballs, and stuff like that. Ground sort of meat things. She's really good at making that. But unfortunately, when she makes, like, meatballs and meatloaf or Salisbury steaks or anything like that, I always like to make fun of her and say, man, this really is good meatloaf, but she made, like, meatballs or whatnot. I like to tease her about that because, like, everything she makes tastes the same in that regard. And I know she works hard. She knows that I'm messing with her. But I always like to tell her, like, hey, why does this taste like this? I imagine what she thinks and what she probably does. She probably ends up just kind of making it all the same thing. But the only thing that's different is just the shape. Like, I imagine, like, when she makes meatballs, it's pretty much just the same recipe she would use to make meat loaf. And it's vice versa with pretty much anything else. And my phone is about to die. Hold on, I need to get a phone. Hey, got a phone charger. It's so bad. Hey. Got meat on myself. Well, it goes in there. Oh, I just realized something. Have I been making this incredibly wrong? I just kind of thought of something. Like, wait, if I did this a different way, I think I could make not only the dumplings have more filling, but also make these a lot quicker. Because I just kind of had this epiphany. Like, what if I just kind of made it all sealed on all the sides here? Like a simple dumpling here. Like this. And then I did like the little things. I mean, that kind of does look a bit better. Let me do a better one though, because that one was kind of sloppy. A bit too wet too. Filling. Fold on all sides here. Now, water, pinch, pinch, pinch. Oh my god, that looks so much nicer. If not the same. Oh, I've been doing this completely wrong. Or at least I've been doing it in a lot more roundabout way that wasn't as efficient as that. I understand everything. Get it. Oh yeah, no, this is so much better. I feel stupid. Now, well, at the very least now, the silver lining of it all, I could go a lot faster. Granted, doing this is still not too terribly fast, but I can still go faster nonetheless. If anything, I can do almost like an assembly line. Now I can just kind of make this, make the filling, and then at the end of a stack, I can then, what is it? I can then kind of do the proper folds then. So, I'll talk. I'm not good at this. But, I'm kind of, what is the word? I'm excited, but cautiously excited for Wednesday stream. I know I kind of been posting my chats a little bit late, in the Discord at least. Like, you're probably better off waiting for me to post them on my medias, because I'm a little bit more consistent with that. Well, on Discord, I'm not. Anyways, besides that, usually, what is it? Usually, I mean, not usually, anyways, stream for Wednesday. That's gonna be a really interesting stream. I'm gonna go talk to basically character AI, and apparently there's a thing to where you can voice call with them. So that sounds really freaky, and I want to do it. It sounds insane. It sounds incredibly stupid, and I really want to try it. It sounds really, really dumb. But then, what is it? I guess this, what is it? I think it's Friday? Friday is going to be more of an impromptu stream, because I don't really know what I want to do Friday. I had some debates on what I want to do for it, but I don't really got anything in particular I'd like to try. I mean, if anything, that new Marvel rival seems kind of interesting. It kind of seems like Overwatch, but like in the golden days of Overwatch, simpler days of Overwatch when there wasn't like 20 million characters. I hope that Marvel Rivals uh outshines it. Overwatch, just because I don't like Overwatch anymore. To be honest, I never really liked Overwatch 2 at all. I think that's a really stupid like it's supposed to be another game, but it's just Overwatch but another game. You have to give it to them though. They did a really good job branding that as like a new sort of game, even though it is pretty much just Overwatch 1. I mean, as much as I know, I don't think there isn't any too much. There's not too much change. I mean, I think there's there's a few more. What'd you say? There's like a few more. What is it? Game modes? But other than that, you could have just added that to the base game of Overwatch, and that would have been fine. I don't know why they had to brand it and I guess sell it off as a new game. Like it just seems like that seems like a lot more. But I digress. I'm not a game dev. Yeah, I gotta actually count. I want to know how many goes I've made at this point. I think I'm doing good in the sense of like how many I've made in such a bit of time. I actually really don't know how many I've made. I've just been kind of making and making, not really much thinking and counting. I would like to have soup right now too. And as funny as it would be, I could just actually steam up a few of these gyozas as well over top the soup. Because the soup's making steam, so by that thought, I could just steam them over with the steam over here. Let's see, how many did I make? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. I mean, if I have 26, I might as well do 32. Or 30. It's like it's so close. It's just so close. Six. 6 plus 3. I'm stupid. I'm stupid. Six. 27, 28, 9, 30, 31. One more. That's 32. All day. Well, might as well get these last done. And for the rest of this filling, could just make wontons. Beef wontons don't sound horrible. Actually, it doesn't really even sound like a bad idea to begin with. And I can't remember what this is from. Is this from Black and White? Right? It's from Black and White, right? Oh. Oh, Hard Gold and Soul Silver. I was not close at all. Cerulean City, too. Hey, Cerulean City, that's in Kanto, right? It's like the second half of the game. Alright, so if my math is correct here, this should be 32. Okay, there we go. And that's the last one. 32! What? Damn. Whew. And I probably only went through half of what I got. Half what I made. Ooh. I'll probably make more some other time. Actually, I could just vacuum seal these. And you know what? I think that might be the best idea. I can vacuum seal the meat, and I can vacuum seal the wrappers. Call it all then. All done deal, nothing to worry about. And it keeps everything fresh, and I can throw it in the freezer. I think that might be the best course of action here. I have still never failed to curdle the eggnog. I mean, the thing about curdling eggnog, if you just don't want to curdle it, all you have to do is temper the egg. It's hard to do. It's a bit of a tedious and long process. But as long as you don't curdle the egg, as long as you do make a liaison and slowly stream it into a thing, you're fine. It is a bit tough though, because it requires a touch of patience, but it's not incredibly difficult to do. That was my wrappers. And now, the meat. Well, I think this stuff has simmered for quite enough time. Give them all a taste here. A tasty. The chicken soup, though. Yeah. Ooh. That just tastes like the biggest, warmest, like, hug. It just tastes so homely. Alright, now the powders. How this is. I think the corn chowder is definitely a miles ton better. Well, not that. It just has a lot more flavor, a lot more richness, a lot more heartiness, and creamy, and all this sort of stuff. They're both very good. But you know what? That needs to be better than this? Some noodles. Gotta wait for it to take seal. Now I can kind of flatten this all out, make it easier for storage. I can name it, Gyoza Mix. Okay, there we go. Oh well, curdled eggnog is still pretty good. Eesh. Eggnog sounds very strange. Like, that sounds like a weird texture. And that's pretty much it. I've made plenty of gyoza. I'm probably gonna take a few and eat some. But, yeah, I think it might be in the best of interest to probably end for today's stream. I've done plenty today. Actually, hold on. Let me... let me actually try to... Okay, well, I got... Oh, there's so much stuff in this freezer now. It's just a good problem to have for food. And try to store everything. Making this a little difficult. There we go. I'm just throwing them in the freezer now. I want to freeze them all together right now, so then when they're actually cold, they'll actually store better. But yeah, I think that should be enough for today's stream. I'll finish this stuff off stream right now, but I'm actually going to now move myself back to my desktop. Okay, give me a second. Oh. Okay. Okay, there we go. Oh. Alright. Well, I think that's enough for today's stream. Ugh, that was a long time cooking. How long have we been cooking for? 3 hours. Damn, alright. That's long. Let's see. Who shall I go raid? No one... Doesn't need to be anyone that I know that I can raid. How about on YouTube? Anyone on YouTube side I could raid? Nope, unfortunately not. Yeah. Doesn't seem like there's anyone for us to go raid on either sides today, so... I think we'll just end up today's stream as is. Alright, well, thank you all for tuning into today's stream. Didn't really do much talking as I'd like to do. Still not good at talking, but maybe someday I'll get better at it. Well, actually we're gonna go... There is someone that we can go raid. We can go raid... this lass. She's an artist, so wow. We're gonna go raid her. Anyways, we're gonna go raid Volpion on the Twitch side, but on the YouTube side, it is what it is. Don't want to raid. So, thank you all for tuning in today. Thank you for saying hi. Thank you for saying whatever, saying bye even. Thank you for tuning in today. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your night, day, evening, morning, whatever it may be. So thank you for tuning in today. And we have a good one. And Saltea Kichee, everyone. And ciao. Bye.